All right. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Express Lane. I think it's going to be a mini one today. But I want to just talk about, I can leave it open. I want to talk about being self-taught and going to school, right? It's different than being self-published and traditionally published. So Jeff Carroll, sci-fi writer, filmmaker, and comic book creator, right? So that's me. And I'm also getting into gaming, so I'm going to probably add that to my titles. So what does it mean to be self-taught? Self-taught is something that I've done kind of with everything. I've never gone to school to write. I taught myself how to write by hiring good editors and people that would police me. Now, mind you, I teach English, so I do know that we learn how to write in school. We learn basic writing. We know how to make a sentence. We know how to put a paragraph together and complete a thought, right? And so nonfiction writing is something that we teach in public school. And when I went to school, we learned expository writing, but I don't know how in-depth we got because, writing stories and creating ideas was definitely something that I think we learned in school when I went there, but I don't think it was something that was taught that well, right? And then also in college is when I feel I got my best writing education. I learned to write 3 paragraphs, 3 sentences. I learned to write essays. I learned how to put my thoughts together, think in threes and multiple ideas to support my position. And that made me amazing in terms of being able to write for days. I can do that for days, right? I even think like it, naturally now. It shaped my thoughts, and that's kind of what I teach in school. But in terms of writing novels and science fiction novels, I taught myself. I actually wrote, read people's books, dissected them, read books on writing, a number of them. I haven't read those books in a while, but I used to read, them every time. Right before I would write a book, I would refresh. I don't turn down any education because as a self-taught person, you never know what is enough, so you keep learning. Whereas sometimes I think when you graduate from school or you take a course, they tell you, all right, now you're ready, and you go out and you do it. When you're self-taught, you never know. And I think that's good because even people that go to school have to continue education because things change. You have to study the market. I remember I took Sister Soldier's book, the first one, Coldest Winter Ever, and I took Awakening, the second book in L.A. Banks's Vampire Huntress series. And when I read them, I went back and read them. I counted the words in each chapter. I studied when the chapters would come to an end, the energy. I studied the flow of the action. And I don't know if I mimicked it, because I remember like some of their pages, and I don't know whose it was 3,000 words. Some were 15,000 words. Some were 2,000 words, not 15,000. Some of the chapters were like 8,000. Some of the chapters was 2,000, 1,000. It was short chapters, long chapters, and I couldn't figure it out. And so when I read another book, I can't remember what it was, and the chapters was very even. And I learned, I was like, dang, there's no right or wrong to it. It's just that what's your taste as a reader or as a writer? How do you think? And so for me, I started writing chapters that were pretty much the same length. And I still like that now. However, if the action gets good or the drama extends, I do know I have the freedom to go a little bit over that, but yeah, I even can think in how long a chapter is because of, just having written it for a while, boom, and nobody taught me that. I learned that myself, and I use that, what do you call it? with all my books. Now, is it right or wrong? There's no real right or wrong on it because it's all to the author's taste. And that's kind of one of the good things that you can get from being self-taught, is that whatever style you're learning, it's your style. Whereas if you go to school writing, sometimes you can learn the teacher's style, and it may take you a while to get out of that to get into your own. When you're self-taught, you learn that straight off the bat. And again, it may take you a long way. It may take you a different way. It may be frustrating. But if you get good editors like I did, they will beat up on you and help you tighten it up. But yeah, I don't know. I value education. I'm a teacher, so I would love to get taught. I think if I could go over it again, I would have loved to have known I wanted to get into writing, and I would have, I'm going to school for it. As much as I am self-taught, I value education, and I supplement my education with listening to others, buying books, and going to seminars. So that is important to me. All right, next, when it comes to filmmaking, right? Self-taught filmmaker. I took a screenwriting class. I worked in television production, and I even worked on a few films. And I learned on the job. No, I didn't go to school for film. I did, just learned on the job. I remember back in the early days, there was a lady from Teaneck, I can't remember, from my hometown, that had a cable access show. And we went and got certified on cameras. And it was really nothing, but you had to learn, the big cameras with the focus and how to establish a shot and how to grab focus. And it was very light. You didn't learn lighting, you didn't learn miking, but you learned the basics of a production. And it's something that you could learn in one night. The cable company just wanted you to be careful when you handled their equipment. That was really all it was. But it's not that much to it. Now, television camera working, you're learning the names, the calls that they're saying out on the headset. Give me this shot, pull it back. A lot of those things that you're learning from there, establishing shot, give me a wide shot. All those terminologies, that's camera working. And it's synonymous with learning sound, learning lighting, all of those things. A lot of those things you have to learn. You can learn on the job, and really in school, when you go to film school, it's an on-the-job type classroom. It's not sitting in there with pen and paper learning hours of theory. You're actually in there learning on the job, and they're auto-correcting you. However, when you are self-taught, you got to cheat it. How do I learn how to film make? Because when I worked in film, I didn't know I was going to become a filmmaker. So I didn't even study it to be doing it on my own. I should have. That would have saved me some time. I probably would have made some good contacts, but I didn't even think of it that way. I wasn't even thinking of, oh shoot, I'm going to go off and make movies, so I need to learn how to do this type of thing because one day I'm going to be doing it on my own. Nope, I didn't even know that. So when I got into filmmaking, I knew how to write. So I hired a film crew that a director and a film crew that worked together, and that saved me so much time. And even my second director for Gold Digger Killer, Roderick, he had worked with Spike Lee, so he brought in a lot of next level director and stuff. But then it took me a while. I took filmmaking in stages. I probably could have done a lot, but around quarantine, my son got me this editing program, Hit Film, that was free. And I learned how to edit, the concepts of it. Now, when I went to make my last two films, I studied the shooting to kind of understand what the clap represented. how important camera speed was. We shot with 3 cameras, so that way we got 3 different angles all at the same time. That was amazing. And it was interesting to see the lighting, to take the sound from the best camera. And this is guerrilla filmmaking. So I learned that. And then just last night, this is why I'm making this video, I learned how to edit and bring a scene together. It's crazy. I know it sounds backward. So I assigned this video presentation to my class. And the students were doing it, and they were using CapCut, and they were using TikTok, and they were editing their videos. And I'm watching these videos. I was like, this kid don't even know how to edit, and this is a nice little clip. So I said, you know what? Let me try to do my thing. And I'm in the process of shooting my documentary. And I shot it myself, interviewing people. And that was cool. That was easy. I tried to do it a while ago with my LitCon, but it was so much background noise, it was hard. And I'm going to go back and look at the footage. I may be able to use some of it, but it was hard. So now I have my son, hey, shoot me coming into the comic book store, shoot me talking to the guy. And then I brought all of those different angles. It was really just me getting out my car, pulling up the car, getting out the car, another shot of me walking, another shot of me opening the door, and another shot of me walking into the store. So it's 4 shots that I brought together. It sounds crazy, but that was something that was so simple that I had never done before. I had never edited. Now bringing a scene together is something that I can conceive me doing. And so that's how that worked. Comic book creating, man, I will say it just took years of Photoshop learning. I do not illustrate, but I do put my comic books together myself. I write them, and when the pages come back, I put the comic books together. Even when it comes to pages, I write and paste my pages myself. I have editors that do commentary, but many times the stories are already done, or they're just checking for grammar. So it's amazing. And how did I learn how to do that? I read comic books. I just counted the pages. Things that you could Google. I sat there and I was like, how many pages did they put in this comic book? When did they start the comic book? When is this action? When did they break the story? Now I'm coming to, I had the advantage of coming into comic books for the second time as a novel writer. So I understood scene and understood images and stuff like that. And that was different than when I first made my first comic books. My first 2 comic books was Imani the Killer 1 and 2. And I made them when I was a filmmaker, and to promote the movie Gold Digger Killer. And it was before I started writing novels. And so now when I got back into it and I made Horror Streets, or wrote Horror Streets 1, the story with Baba and the White Hoods, and Don't Let Them Get in Your Head. Now I had 10 years of writing books and story pacing. I had done more film, So this was interesting. And so by the time I'm writing Cyberpunk Streets, these are already screenplays that I'm converting to comic books. So it's just an interesting journey. I say this because I wanted to outline how I did each one, and talk about me being self-taught. I don't dislike it. It is frustrating. I'm in film for 20 years. I made my first movie in 2003, and now I'm just editing my first scene. But I can. Only thing I think I might want to learn a little bit more is lighting. I think I got sound down. I think I got the whole production. So my next time, I'm going to go in deeper to making my own film, and it saves me money. I may have to buy a new computer to do better editing and learn more things, but my Photoshop skill has allowed me to understand the editing and the philosophy around it. I still think I'm a different type of learner because I have to kind of understand the philosophy, and I go back and forth. So anyway, let me close this out. Being self-taught is one thing, but you still have to learn from other people, because it's easier to learn how the wheel was made rather than try to reinvent the wheel. And some people go wrong in thinking that when you're self-taught, you don't listen to nobody else. And that's a lie. All right, I'm out. Now I'm late for school. Peace.